From cheese made with live maggots to blood pancakes served at family dinners, Europe is home to some of the weirdest dishes you'll ever hear of. While some consider them delicacies, others can't believe people actually eat these things. Brace yourself, these are the most absurd foods you'll only find in Europe.
Number 15. Good Brandsdalsost. Norwegian mountains produce one of the world's most unusual cheeses, a sweet caramel-colored product that challenges cheese expectations while delivering unique flavors found nowhere else. Good Brandsdalsost, commonly called brunost, results from slowly cooking whey left over from traditional cheesemaking until milk sugars caramelize into rich brown syrup. This concentrated whey is then formed into blocks that develop firm texture while maintaining intense sweetness and complex flavors. The cooking process can take hours, requiring constant stirring to prevent burning while achieving proper caramelization that creates brunost's distinctive color and taste. Properly made brunost balances sweetness with subtle savory notes, creating flavors reminiscent of caramel, toffee, or dulce de leche, rather than traditional cheese. Norwegians typically serve brunost sliced thin on crisp bread or flatbread, where its intense flavors provide satisfying contrast to neutral grain bases. The cheese pairs surprisingly well with coffee, creating breakfast combinations that sustain people through cold Norwegian morning.
Number 14. Haggis. Scotland's national dish remains shrouded in mystery, tradition, and fierce debate about its true ingredients. Haggis combines sheep's heart, liver, and lungs with onions, oatmeal, suet, and secret spice blends, all stuffed into the animal's stomach lining. This ancient recipe emerged from practical necessity. Highland communities needed to preserve every part of the animal during harsh winters. The preparation involves mincing organ meats, mixing them with oats and seasoning, then encasing everything in natural stomach lining before slow cooking for hours. The result is a dense, savory pudding with complex flavors ranging from earthly to slightly gamey. Modern versions often substitute artificial casings, but traditional haggis maintains its authentic preparation methods. Burns Night celebrations across Scotland feature ceremonial haggis presentations, complete with bagpipe music and poetry recitations. The dish is served with neeps and tatties, mashed turnips and potatoes, creating a hearty meal that sustained generations of Scots. International perceptions of haggis range from curiosity to revulsion, but those brave enough to try it often discover surprisingly pleasant flavors.
I have a question for you. First, I would like to say that it is possible to follow the greatest curiosities of our world every day. But to do so, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, are you already subscribed? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Also, take the opportunity to like the video so YouTube will recommend more videos from our channel. So leave your like right now. And now that you have done that, let's go!
Number 13. Lamprey. Portuguese neighbors harbor one of Europe's most primitive and controversial delicacies, lamprey, an eel-like creature that has remained virtually unchanged for millions of years. These jawless fish attach themselves to larger fish, using circular, tooth-filled mouths, feeding parasitically throughout their adult lives. Traditional Portuguese preparation involves bleeding live lampreys, collecting their blood for rice dishes, while preparing the meat through various cooking methods. The blood creates intensely flavored rice that locals consider a delicacy, while lamprey meat provides firm, flaky texture with subtle, slightly sweet flavors. Preparation requires skill and knowledge passed down through generations of Portuguese cooks who understand proper handling techniques for these unusual creatures. Lamprey season occurs during winter months when the fish migrate upstream to spawn, creating limited availability that increases their value and cultural significance. Traditional cooking methods include grilling, roasting, or stewing lampreys with wine, garlic, and regional seasonings that complement their natural flavors.
Number 12. Surströmming. Sweden's most notorious export isn't furniture or pop music. It's a fish so pungent that airlines banned it from flights. Surströmming, fermented Baltic herring, represents one of Europe's most boldest culinary dares. The process begins when herring catches from the Baltic Sea undergo natural fermentation lasting 6 months. During this time, bacteria break down proteins, creating compounds that generate an overwhelming aroma capable of clearing entire rooms. The cans swell with fermentation gases, building pressure that releases an unforgettable smell upon opening. Despite its reputation, surströmming holds deep cultural significance in Swedish society. Each August, communities gather outdoors for traditional surströmming parties, where families bond over this polarizing delicacy. The fish is served with flatbread, potatoes, strong cheese, and aquavit to balance its intense flavors. Enthusiasts describe the taste as complex, salty, sour, and surprisingly addictive once you overcome the initial shock. The fermentation creates a unique umami depth that keeps devotees returning year after year.
Number 11. Plokkfisker. Iceland's harsh climate and fishing-dependent economy created plokkfisker, a humble dish that transforms leftover fish and potatoes into soul-warming comfort food, beloved throughout the island nation. Traditional preparation combines flaked cooked fish, usually cod or haddock, with boiled potatoes, onions, and white sauce to create hearty, satisfying meals that sustain fishing families through difficult times. The dish varies by household, with some families adding different fish types, vegetables, or seasonings that reflect personal preferences in available ingredients. Proper plokkfisker achieves perfect balance between fish and potato flavors, with creamy sauce binding ingredients without overwhelming delicate fish tastes. Icelandic families serve plokkfisker as everyday comfort food, particularly during cold weather when warming, substantial meals provide physical and emotional satisfaction. The preparation utilizes leftover ingredients efficiently, reflecting practical cooking traditions that minimize waste while maximizing nutrition from expensive or difficult to obtain foods.
Number 10. Kasumartsu. Hidden in Sardinia's hills, cheesemakers craft a product so controversial that the European Union banned its commercial sale. Kasumartsu begins as ordinary Pecorino Romano, made from fresh sheep's milk and aged traditionally. However, cheesemakers deliberately introduce Piofilicacea, the cheese fly, which lays eggs within the aging wheel. When larvae hatch, they consume the cheese's fats, transforming its texture into something remarkably creamy. The maggots remain alive when the cheese is consumed, sometimes jumping several inches when disturbed, causing diners to wear protective eyewear. Despite health concerns, locals prize Kasumartsu for its intense spicy flavor and creamy consistency. The fermentation process creates a cheese unlike any other, tangy, sharp, and extraordinarily complex. Sardinians believe the living larvae brew the cheese's freshness and quality. Traditional preparation involves spreading the cheese on crispy flatbread paired with robust local wines that complement its powerful taste. The cheese's illegal status has only increased its mystique, with underground networks ensuring its continued production.
Number 9. Balut. Though popular across Southeast Asia, balut has found surprising acceptance in certain European communities, particularly among Filipino immigrants who maintain their culinary traditions. This fertilized duck egg, incubated for 14 to 21 days before boiling, contains a partially developed embryo, complete with feathers, beak, and bones. The preparation requires precise timing. Too early and the egg lacks complexity. Too late and the embryo becomes too developed for most palates. Street vendors sell balut warm, often late at night, accompanied by salt, chili, or vinegar for seasoning. Eating balut involves cracking the shell, sipping the savory broth inside, then consuming the embryo and remaining yolk. The experience challenges Western food sensibilities while providing rich protein and traditional medicinal benefits according to folk beliefs. Filipino communities in European cities like London, Amsterdam, and Barcelona have introduced balut to local food scenes, creating cultural bridges through shared culinary experiences. The taste combines familiar egg flavors with unique textures,
The embryo is tender, the yolk creamy, and the broth savory and warm.
Number 8. Blutwurst. German butchers have perfected the art of blood sausage for over 1,000 years, creating regional variations that reflect local tastes and available ingredients. Blutwurst combines fresh pig's blood with fat, meat, and fillers like oats, barley, or bread, seasoned with onions, marjoram, and regional spices. The blood provides protein and iron while creating the sausage's distinctive dark color and rich flavor. Traditional preparation involves collecting blood immediately after slaughter, mixing it with other ingredients while still warm, then stuffing the mixture into natural casings. Different regions produce unique versions. Thüringer Rotwurst includes bacon and garlic, while Himmel and Erde features apples and onions. The cooking process requires careful temperature control to prevent the blood from coagulating improperly, which would create unpleasant textures. Properly made Blutwurst has a smooth, dense consistency with complex flavors ranging from savory to slightly sweet. German families often prepare blood sausage during traditional pig slaughters, community events that strengthen social bonds while preserving cultural practices.
Number 7. Escargot. French cuisine transformed humble garden snails into one of the world's most recognized delicacies, proving that culinary genius can elevate any ingredient. Escargot preparation begins with purging live snails by feeding them herbs and flour for several days, removing antitoxins or unpleasant flavors from their natural diet. The snails are then boiled, removed from their shells, and prepared with various seasonings and cooking methods. Classic escargot de Bourgogne features snails baked in shells with garlic butter, parsley, and shallots, creating an aromatic dish that fills French bistros with irresistible scents. The butter mixture penetrates the snail meat, creating tender, flavorful bites that pair perfectly with crusty bread for soaking up excess garlic butter. Texture surprises first-time tasters. Properly cooked escargot resembles tender mushrooms or clams rather than anything slimy or unpleasant. Different French regions have developed unique escargot preparations, from Alsace's wine-braised versions to Provence's herb-crusted variations. The dish requires special tools. Escargot tongues hold shells while small forks extract the meat, creating a ritualistic dining experience. French children often grow up eating escargot, normalizing what others consider exotic food.
Number 6. Tête de veau. Traditional French cuisine includes few dishes as challenging to modern sensibilities as tête de veau, an entire calf's head prepared with classic techniques passed down through generations of French chefs. The preparation begins with careful cleaning and blanching of the head, including tongue, cheeks, brain, and other organs, each requiring specific handling to achieve proper texture and flavor. Slow braising and aromatic vegetable broths develops complex flavors while tenderizing tough connective tissues into gelatinous richness. The tongue becomes silky and smooth, cheeks develop melt-in-your-mouth tenderness, and brain achieves creamy, custard-like consistency. Traditional accompaniments include sauce bridebidus, a tangy mixture of hard-boiled eggs, capers, herbs, and mustard that cuts through the rich meat flavors. French bistros serve tête de veau as a test of culinary authenticity, separating true food lovers from casual diners. The dish requires skilled preparation. Improper cooking results in tough, unpalatable meat that reinforces negative preconceptions about organ consumption. Master chefs spend years learning proper techniques for each component, timing cooking methods to achieve perfect textures throughout.
Number 5. Memi. Finland's most beloved Easter tradition centers around memi, a dark, molasses-sweetened rye pudding that challenges dessert expectations while delivering complex, satisfying flavors. Traditional preparation begins weeks before Easter, when households start the slow process of transforming rye flour into smooth, dark pudding through careful heating and stirring. The mixture requires constant attention as it thickens, developing deep brown color and rich, earthy flavors that define authentic memi. Molasses adds sweetness that balances rye's natural bitterness, while orange zest provides bright citrus notes that lighten the dense dessert. The final texture resembles thick custard or pudding, dark brown and inviting when properly prepared. Finnish families serve memi chilled, traditionally in birch bark containers that add subtle, woody aromatics to the dessert experience.
Classic accompaniments include fresh cream or milk, which create beautiful color contrast while mellowing Memi's intense flavors. Regional variations exist throughout Finland, with some families adding cardamom, others preferring pure rye and molasses combinations. The dessert connects modern Finns to agricultural traditions when rye sustained communities through long winters.
Number 4. Jellied eels. East London's working-class communities created jellied eels from necessity, transforming abundant Thames River eels into a dish that became synonymous with Cockney culture and London's culinary identity. Traditional preparation involves boiling fresh eels with herbs and spices until meat becomes tender and cooking liquid develops natural gelatin from eel bones and skin. The cooked eels are chopped into portions and covered with the gelatinous cooking liquid, which sets into firm jelly when cooled. Proper jellied eels have clean, clear aspect that highlights the eel's natural flavors without overwhelming seasonings. The texture combination surprises newcomers: tender, flaky fish within firm, savory jelly that melts pleasantly in the mouth. Traditional eel and pie shops throughout East London serve jellied eels alongside mashed potatoes, liquor or parsley sauce, and vinegar for seasoning. The dish provided affordable protein for dock workers, market traders, and other manual laborers who needed substantial nutrition during long working days. Preparation methods varied by shop, with family recipes creating subtle differences in seasoning and jelly consistency that built customer loyalty.
Number 3. Tête de Moine. Swiss cheese making reaches artistic heights with tête de moine, a semi-hard cheese that transforms into delicate rosettes through specialized cutting techniques developed by medieval monks. The cheese originates from Bellelay Abbey, where monks created this distinctive product using milk from cows grazing alpine pastures rich with herbs and wildflowers. Traditional aging occurs in cool cellars for minimum 4 months, developing complex flavors that range from nutty and fruity to slightly spicy, depending on aging duration. The unique presentation involves using a girole, a special scraping device that creates paper-thin rosettes when properly operated. These cheese rosettes curl naturally as they're scraped, creating elegant presentations that enhance both visual appeal and flavor release through increased surface area. The scraping technique aerates the cheese, intensifying aromatics and creating textural contrasts between crispy edges and creamy centers. Swiss traditions dictate specific serving methods. Tête de Moine rosettes accompany dried fruits, nuts, and light wines that complement rather than compete with the cheese's delicate flavors.
Number 2. Kiviak. Arctic survival created one of the world's most extreme preservation methods. Kiviak holds small birds fermented inside sealskin to provide essential nutrition during the harsh Greenlandic winters. Traditional preparation begins when hunters catch small auks, Arctic birds rich in vitamins and oils necessary for cold weather survival. These birds are stuffed whole into sealskin, which is then sewn shut and left to ferment naturally for several months. The fermentation process preserves the birds while developing complex flavors and maintaining crucial nutrients that prevent scurvy and other deficiency diseases. Inuit families consume kiviak during special occasions and winter celebrations, eating the birds whole, including bones, which provide calcium and other minerals difficult to obtain in Arctic environments. The taste combines gamey bird flavors with fermentation tang, creating unique combinations that reflect Arctic food preservation wisdom developed over thousands of years. Preparation methods vary among different Inuit communities, with some families adding specific herbs or adjusting fermentation times to achieve preferred flavors and textures. The dish represents ultimate sustainable eating, using every part of available animals while creating foods that provide complete nutrition and environments with few alternatives exist.
Modern Queenslandic communities maintain Kiviak traditions while adapting to contemporary lifestyles that include imported foods and different preservation options.
Number 1. Smalahove. Norwegian mountain communities developed smalahove from practical necessity, transforming sheepheads into prized delicacies that test even brave eaters while providing essential winter nutrition. Traditional preparation begins with singeing head hair over open flames, then salting and drying the heads for several weeks until properly cured. The cured heads are steamed until meat becomes tender, creating dishes that utilize every edible part, including tongue, cheeks, eyes, and brain. Proper smalahove has tender, flavorful meat with textures ranging from the tongue's smoothness to cheeks' rich, gelatinous consistency. Norwegian families traditionally serve smalahove during Christmas celebrations, particularly in western regions where sheep farming dominates local agriculture. The presentation challenges modern sensibilities. Entire sheep heads arrive at tables with eyes, teeth, and other recognizable features intact. Traditional eating order begins with ears and works systematically through different head parts, each offering unique flavors and textures that reward adventurous diners. Regional variations exist throughout Norway, with some areas preferring different preparation methods or seasonal timing that affects final flavors and textures. The dish connects modern Norwegians to agricultural traditions when communities needed maximum nutrition from every animal part during long, harsh winters.
Now I have a special recommendation for you. Are you seeing this video that is appearing on the screen? Click on it because I'm sure you'll like it. Well, that's it. And until next time, Curious One.